Now that Rowley's just joined. Can't start without the technical director.
Now there he is.
That's it. Looking younger again. What the?
Just a second. I'll be able to hear you guys. I'm trying to connect the headphones to it. I can't hear out of my phone.
No worries, Austin. Your beard's looking wonderful, though, dude. If it's any consolation.
There's Lincoln.
So let's check if we're going.
We are live.
Have you got us live? Yeah, I can't see shit here. Are we live? Because I can't.
Yes, we are live. Classic Neil. Are we live? Then one fucking
That's
time.
quite strange. Mine isn't anyway. Bollocks. We must be live. Ray can see us. I can't see anything, but hopefully it'll come on in a minute and I can see the chat. Oh, there we go. I've got the Wheel of Doom. Yep. I think it's coming. Okay, mother fluffers. Who have we got coming in? We've got somebody else joining. Let's have a look. Who we've got coming in? Oh, look at that! Double Austin!
We got two Austins.
Twice! How is that even possible? This is a fix first. Dude,
Inception.
Ray.
Yes.
Right?
All right.
How is that possible?
He just joined from two different phones.
I'm using two phones.
You got a good man.
Jesus. What is this voodoo? That is unbelievable. I'll tell you what. Cutting edge techno. Engin, I'm glad you've joined because we've got a first. Oh my God, Engin's bald. What the hell is going on?
What is going on here? Hold on.
We've got a bald Engin and two Austin Jaggers.
I can't see Engin.
I'm gonna shut this one.
Unbelievable. And on one of them you're smiling and one of them you're just serious. That's ridiculous, mate.
I like the haircut, Engin. I like
cool,
it.
isn't it? I'll be happy with that. Look at that. Look at that, Engin. Two Austin Jaggers. You can invite one of them to East versus West. Whichever one's the strongest, get him over. You should pull yourself up. I've done it. It's going to be fun.
I am excited for what's coming up.
Man.
I'm excited for Manchester.
Absolute quality. Can you hear us now, Austin?
Yes.
Let's just do it. Mic check. Engin, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Austin. Go on. Paul Lynn, we know can. Rolly Ray, we know can.
Taking the nose of Devon's new nose.
Devon's nose. There you go. See? He's got the wiggle going down. Wicked Witch of the West. Mate, it's a good show earlier on. If you haven't seen that, get over to Engin's channel, check it out. He had No Limits Devon Lara and Gennady Quickvinia on the show. Ray, I got my dates mixed up, Rolly. I thought you were at the Hardanger Open this weekend. It's next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, next.
Mate, got my dates mixed up. But a couple of things to go to tonight. Firstly, let's formally open the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. Show number 144. We'll do it in Dart's voice. 144. There it is. Number 144. We got a first timer on the show, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Austin, the Juggernaut Jaggers. There he is right there. Look, the big sexy. Had a big win this weekend over Derek Smith, another absolutely rock strong North American giant puller. Battle of the next big things over there. Great match, incidentally. If you haven't seen that, Paul, you were there. Is it 190? Is it the 98% it was on?
98%. It's on like 7 different YouTubes. It's on my YouTube. If you want to look at it on mine, we have the live one. But if you want to really dig into this event, like this match, more will follow. But go to 217. He put the edit out. Like he must have done it at like 2 in the morning. Like
Brad's got it out there, mate. If you anybody in the chat, if you're not subscribed to 217 Arm Wrestling, what are you even thinking?
Yep.
Get over there.
The whole event was live streamed on like 7 different YouTubes. 98, mine, everything.
Absolute quality. 217, one of the original high quality arm wrestling presentation out there. Does some wonderful stuff. Get over Brad, killing it. And it was a hell of a match. Ray, did you see the match this weekend, mate?
Yes, I saw the match. I saw it on 217. Yeah.
What did you think, dude? I thought it was a cracking pull.
It was a great match. It was a great match. I was watching it because I saw that some posted results, and I was like, interesting. How did it go? And after like 2-0, I'm like, how? How?
I
And then
thought
it
the
happened.
same.
And I was like, okay, nice. Yeah.
I thought, Engin, did you see the match between Austin Jaggers and Derek this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have seen a few rounds. One, Derek toppled him. The other one, he shoulder pressed Derek. And I saw Dallas. Dallas was complaining about something,
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Irving, and then probably Paul was saying, no, it was not like this. It was only copying. You know, I saw some like discussion about it, but
We
I
have
don't
the
know.
referee right here, Paul Lynn.
First off, Derek asked for me, and he asked for me to ref that match. So just to be fair, we had Tim Bresnan and Ron Klemba and everybody else there. We had like 4 sets of ref. That was by request.
So what was the apparent? I've watched them. Sorry, I didn't know about any of the drama, but I watched the match, and it seemed like it was hotly contested, but not. I didn't see the drama sort of thing. I saw a couple of little bobbles and fouls. There
were floating elbows, and there were some cupping fouls. Derek wasn't carving. It was wrist flexion on the go a couple times early on, and then there were some restarted matches because of some big elbow hops and bobbles.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it went both ways. I think Austin got fouled a good amount of times too. So
I thought it was a great match, Paul. I mean, like I say, I wasn't aware of any drama. I was watching it while I was at an event. Just literally watching it on my phone, and I loved it. I've got to be honest, I loved it. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was done at one point. I thought, it's over. Derek's over, and then
I thought it was done too. I'm thinking to myself, like Derek, you shouldn't have asked me to ref. I should be cornering you. You know what I mean?
It was a very interesting match for me. Like Ray was saying, I was in exactly the same camp as you, Ray. When Derek took the first two in what looked like dominant fashion, I thought, oh my God.
Derek was talking. Derek was like, not today, Austin. It ain't happening. In like the first 2 rounds, he looked in total control. And then it got weird.
It actually reminded me a lot of you, Rolly Ray. If I'm honest. Because I must admit, mate, I've seen you get absolute ass handed to you a couple of times in those first 2 rounds, and then find a way to get the brakes on and come back into it. Austin, let's bring you in at this point here, mate, as well.
Yes, sir.
Did you feel like it was done and dusted when the first 2 rounds? Did you feel like you had anything, or were you sort of panicking a little there? Oh, mate, we've lost you, Austin. We ain't got your sound.
We can't hear you. We can't hear at all.
No.
I think you're on mute now, mate. Try now. Oh, we've lost him. Damn this thing. Don't have the Oh, that's an even better beard.
Ray, does Douglas have chance against Prokopchuk, and how much? If he gets like just say 10%, 15% better, because he said that he is constantly getting better, stronger.
Do not, if the dude in the blue's driving, don't let him cross that car.
I don't see much there. As much as I like Doug, I really like Doug. Like we talked about that match, and I told him, like, if you can't top roll him and finish fast, most likely not end up in a strap, you're done. You know, you're done.
But do you see there is any possibility he may take the risk, so Daniel?
No.
I
might he might jump in his arm, and that's all that Daniel wants. All that Daniel wants.
We got Austin 2 joining again.
That's where my audio. That's where you can hear me.
But let's see what Doug has, prepared. Like he's training really hard. He's studying him, and I know we talk, and so I'm interested to see, what can he do, because he has huge confidence in himself. So yeah, it's still going to be for me interesting match, but on paper, Daniel is a bad day for most people. Like even in a match versus Samushi, he looked like he was gonna take full control that first round. Like and then something just didn't work out.
I think Austin is back, I think.
Yeah, y'all can hear me now, right?
Well, yes, yeah, we got you clear as a bell now, mate.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
the question,
what
we're
I
going
was
to come
saying
back
is-
to the East versus West stuff in a second in depth, but I just wanted to touch on this, Austin, while you've come on the show.
Yeah.
Where was your head at in that first round, mate? Because you got
That's
run
what I'm
over
saying.
there.
Derek, he had a lot of like overwhelming posts. Like the height of his hand was just. I got long arms. Derek's got longer arms, so it was a bit tricky trying to climb with him. So he took my hand the first two, and he even got me the third one, but he had that running foul. But I started to find an avenue with him. Like I started to see light at the end of the tunnel. I was seeing, weak spots, and I can feel it. If I grabbed lower on his wrist, if I didn't try to go up top with him, it made it easier for me to contain him, and it made it easier for me to be able to stay tight.
Now, I had a little conversation today on the messenger with Derek Smith. And you guys will have obviously talked to Derek. Maybe Ray's talked to Derek. I know Ray's close to Derek. I know Engin is. And by all means, lads, tell me if you've spoken to him again today. But he seemed to me today to be in good spirits. He was quite happy with his performance.
Derek just seems like a happy guy, genuinely. Like we were both big old teddy bears up there. It was funny.
And for you, Austin, how big a win is this, mate?
It's a big win. He destroyed Tim Breslin, and then I have trouble against him, kinda, and then I'm able to beat Derek. So I think I have a lot in me. I surprised myself. I think I'm okay, but the whole reason I go after these guys is to see what I'm capable of.
Now, the other question I wanted to ask you as well, obviously, East versus West on a tear at the moment. We've got Engin on the show tonight. You must be watching that with a lot of interest, Austin. Obviously, Engin giving shots to some of the better pullers from North America. Qualifiers going on over there as well. You're on a very impressive run. You got the Arnolds. We saw you perform impressively against Tim. That's a huge win over a very, very powerful, very talented opponent in Derek Smith. What would your aspirations be long term? We know you've got a match coming up in Arm Wars, Iron House 3. Is the ultimate goal to try and get onto one of those East versus West cards?
Absolutely. That's the main goal. Arm Wars is the biggest thing that I've been a part of. And thanks to you. And Engin, come on, man. I would love to have
there are qualifications, my friend. Are you good
I
enough?
know there is. So I got to qualify, baby.
Engin, let's just ask that question of you, mate. So let's say, where would your sort of, like the golden ticket sort of thing, where would your sort of golden ticket level be for a guy to come in and put a win on the board impressively enough for you to think, yeah, I'm gonna put this dude in East versus West? Where's the bar?
I mean, my friend, there are some people that for many years, they have proven themselves.
Mhm.
And I try to give, like, in the super heavyweight, we know the guys, we know there is Devon, we know there is Dave Chaffee,
Yep.
we know there is Michael Todd, we know Jerry Cadoret, these are a little bit different level. And while I see that, like, middleweights and lightweights from North America, they didn't have so many opportunities to pull against the Eastern guys for many years.
Mhm.
Because the world mostly cares about the big guys. Usually in professional understanding, the offers came for mostly, the Zloty and other things, mostly for the super heavyweights, while not really attractive offers for the light and middleweight. So that is why I think that the super heavyweights, like, they progress more because of having this kind of experience against the Eastern guys. But now what I try to do, like now there are qualification, because whenever I invite, the other guy is saying, hey, why not me? You understand? So that is why when there is a qualification. So I mean, if the guy is good enough, it means that he's good enough to win there. He will be there here anyways. You understand? So what is your weight, Austin?
About 308.
308. So you are a real super heavyweight. So most likely, I think that there is the weight category is 240. Probably in 240 there will be like Marcio and Paulo, and then in super heavyweight, I think you will be there. I don't know who else would compete, because Dave Chaffee, Jerry Cadore, these guys, no need to compete. I know in 240 is most likely there will be Matt Mask as well, but in super heavyweight, I don't know if Derek Smith is gonna compete. Who else is there to be like as favorites in North America? I know that the Corey West probably will not, because Corey also, especially with left arm, people are even thinking that he's up there in top 5 in the world. He will have most likely will have a super match against Artem Morozov this year. This is what I hear. And so who else can give you trouble there, Austin, in the qualifications?
I've never got to pull Chance fresh.
Oh, Chance, yeah, Chance is there, yeah.
Yeah, Chance is a good one. Let's see, really, the people that are above me now are just, it's Michael Todd, it's Chasey, it's Corey West, it's Devon. But in America, left-handed, Corey West, and I think that might be it. People have talked about me pulling Dave Chafee left. I don't know how good Chafee's left is.
Cody. I would like to see the Cody.
Oh, Cody, yeah, Cody Merritt, huge a beast. Yes.
Ray,
Not bad, Cody, if you're watching this.
Ray, who would you put Austin against Europeans? Who would be, if you were sort of picking your brains for the guys that jump off the page for a match with Austin, as a precursory tester? We've got him in a match against Mindaugas Tulskas, which I love that match at Arm Wars. But who would you put him against?
He will tell us. Before Ray, sorry about it, but this match that you said probably will tell us about where Austin is. And I wouldn't set him, I don't know if Ray would agree or something, I wouldn't set him against the super elite of the Eastern Europeans, but a little bit below that one, not like Gennady, not like Morozov, not that level, but yeah, but you're gonna go step by step, I'm sure you're gonna improve, because trust me, my friends, if Americans, when I cannot say Americans are not successful, we're talking about one country. When you say East, as I always says, that there are too many countries you're talking about, but still, Americans would be much better if they would be more mixed with the international competition and get more experience. So, but I think that when you go to Arm Wars, I think you will have very good experience, because the guy is a very strong guy. And then other events, I think that you will improve more and more. Okay, sorry, Ray.
I appreciate that. No, you're fine. That's how you got to earn my stripes. Can't be, I've only been pulling for 6 years. I got to earn my colors.
Luckily, I don't have to do any matchmaking. Like, I can pinpoint. Like, come on, like Derek pulled a few times on East versus West. I'm correct. He lost every time, right?
Against monsters.
Against monsters. So where is his level? Right under them, or wait? We don't know, right?
It's hard.
Austin beat him in a war, so I don't know. Even more.
Yeah,
Mindaugas Tulskas will tell us a lot, because Minda is kind of okay. I understand where Minda's level is.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing about the Derek matches, in my opinion. Derek's in a weird position because he's like 6'12", like you can't put this guy against a lighter weight guy. Like you have to put him, like Angan did, put him against other people that are physically imposing. Otherwise it looks weird. I think like entry level, in hindsight being 2020, knowing what we know now, I would have liked to seen Derek pull somebody like Sandras or somebody like in like a 250 range. And I also think that that could be a good matchup. Something like that in that
So
area.
elite, a level
I would
down.
like to say-
A higher level, lighter weight dude. Austin is a huge human being also, but he's not a skyscraper. So I think it optically, a lighter weight, really good guy could be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, but let's go to Ray on that one. Ray, let's say you put, you know, Austin against Sandras. Good match or not? Do you think?
I'd like to pull Sanders.
I
don't
think
know. I really don't know. I can't give an input. I don't have enough information. I'll be
one
dead
thing I can
honest.
say about Austin is he got a huge heart.
Oh my
Some of
God.
the positions he was fighting in both matches,
Yeah,
like,
mate.
hard for
That
days.
third round, was it
Hey,
third
it's
round?
called break it or take it.
Yeah.
That third round, I think it was the third. Let me think. Was it the third round? It may have been a little later, but it was later because I think you'd come back into it. May even have been like the fifth start. I think it was
the
two,
fourth.
and he busted your wrist bad. And I thought, oh, it's done. You'd come back into it, and then he busted your wrist, but absolutely rolled the piss out of you. And I thought, oh, it's over. He's missed it. I actually thought he'd missed the start, and Derek's a good puller. Busted you over, and you came back with your wrist absolutely wound back, and you were in a horrible position for a moment. I thought, oh shit.
Oh,
Did you guys see the left-handed match?
Yeah.
There were some good ones there too.
Frightening positions, mate. Frightening positions. But you got into some ropey positions with Tim as well, to be fair. You know.
you want to know what's odd though? Those positions that look so odd feel so comfortable to me.
That's
I
unusual.
don't get it.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
jealous. It's
brutal.
like a sticky spot. It's how I do my static holds. It's like I don't do my static holds directly in front of me. I do it at an angle. Like how arm wrestling is. I got my delt in front of my in front of my elbow, and you know it's like. So when I get that twisted, I don't know.
That's position was nearly as bad as your audio on that one, dude.
My bad.
We lost you almost there, mate. But I think we got the gist of what you were saying.
And
We just had a-
Austin,
Sorry, go
Austin,
on.
your left arm is better than your right arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look comfortable on your left.
And like how
My
good
left-
is it? Like how good is it, Neil? You think like is it like a Matushenko level?
Ooh, I don't know. I rate Matushenko very highly. Ooh,
You know, Matushenko
let me
is
think.
very good, but not like those Levan, Morozov, you know, that level, I think.
Let me say a match that I would love to see. Okay, a match. Let's say Austin comes through, and I've just had a super chat from Silky Wilkie as well. Silky Wilkie, thanks for your super chat, brother. Get to that in one moment, mate. A match that I would love to see. Let's say Austin comes over, wins or loses against Minda Gastulskas. A match I would love is Matt Mask.
Ooh,
Yeah.
When I was going down
interesting.
the Ray question route,
That's
I was going to
interesting.
ask Ray next. What do you think of that? Because I like that match for Derek Smith also. Not going to lie, I like Derek Smith Mask, and I really like Austin and Matt also. I think that's a good pull. I know that Kalinichenko is going against Matt, I believe, later this year. And that's another very hard match for Matt against a very strong, very well-rounded puller. I was a little gutted that people were jumping on Matt after his last match. You always get that negativity, which is a great shame because Matt's a great arm wrestler and he's a very high-level puller, you know. So
yeah, but his peak Hermes Gasparini, Rudnik Sandris, and Jordan Tsusonev is just like very best guys for their categories, like very
Yes.
top guys.
But
Very,
he
very high.
beat Krasi.
I mean,
we
he-
should not forget he beat Krasi.
He did.
Yes, he beat Krasi. I mean, Krasi short reach, while Jordan is taller,
Yeah.
And so I was expecting him to hook him, but I think from what I understand, you said that Derek toppled Austin, and Austin was resisting like this. This what I didn't see the match, so I think that Matt would topple him, and then there would be a war like this.
That's what I see.
That's what I see too. I think
I-
Derek. The match with Matt and Derek is really interesting because it's the battle of topples. I just
Yes.
don't know if Derek might overwhelm Matt. There's a possibility that lever length overwhelms him, and it's pseudo one-sided. But I think with Austin, we're going to see some weird spots, and we're going to see stops in some weird spots, and then we're going to see some arm wrestling.
Mate, I love it. I like that I like a four-way in that respect also. And I went both ways in terms of who you would have in there. But look at Ray with the four-way comment, and he was
No. Going both ways comment. Going both ways comment.
But if you had Derek and Austin representing the USA, right? So you have Team America, and you've got Derek and Austin, and then rest of the world. I know in North American, but say you bring over Matt Mask, and the other guy I'd like to throw into that mix, and possibly let's say you do Matt and Derek on one side, and on the other side, Austin and Krasimir.
Ooh.
Mate, I think that's a fucking.
I have a question for you guys. In the North America 240s for East versus West qualification, I know Marcio lost against Paulo, but Marcio is just making a comeback after his injury, so he's gonna get stronger for sure. I'm not sure if he's gonna beat Paulo next time, but before he did it, and Matt told me that he's gonna compete as well. So who is winning 240s in East versus West qualifications when there is Paulo, when there is Marcio, even better trained, and also Matt Mask? I know Matt has won against Marcio in the past in WAL, but so how do you see that?
And so
anyone else left 240s? Anyone else left?
You know what's so interesting about it, Angin? Geographically, they're all in different areas, so they won't wind up at the same qualifiers. But if fate has its way, they'll all wind up at the finals. Because I don't like nobody's beaten Marcio in our region. No one's beaten Pablo in the Midwest, and nobody's beaten Matt.
And no one is beating Matt Mask in Canada, so they all will be in the finals.
They'll be in the finals. And I don't.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like.
Can you imagine that? What a qualification! Wow.
There's a couple dark horses in there, Angin, like a Jerome Loud.
Who are they? Who are they?
Jerome Loud.
Jerome Loud is a sleeper.
I thought he was 220.
He pulled the 240s. He's more like 230, 235. He's under that weight. Like he's not going to be
in Florida. He pulled 240s.
Yes.
Okay.
Jerome's hands are friggin'. He's got like monster thick hands, and he just natural structural. He's one of those dudes that's just got gifts. His hand looks thick and powerful,
like a full knuckle longer. It's like RVJ style hand.
Big, thick, powerful hand. And when he's on his game, he's bloody impressive.
I would suggest some of the East versus West guys that are coming here to just in case get qualified, for the June finals. I mean, who never know, you don't know. So just make sure that, somehow, if something happens here, so you would be qualified, anyways, for the next one.
So let's get to Silky Wilkie's super chat. Thanks, brother. Love Silky Wilkie. What a legend. He's put, congrats, Jaggernaut, on the win on the right hand. I had fun watching you pull with Derek. Consider me a new fan.
Nice.
Mate, I think
Thank
you're going
you,
to convert
Silky
a lot of
Wilkie.
people, Austin. I really do. I think you're going to compete because you do pull in exciting matches because you're prepared to go anywhere. You know.
I'll do whatever it takes. If I have the gas in the tank, it's going to get used.
Mm-hmm. That's evident, mate. That is very. I mean, from the matches that I've seen you arm wrestling, when you haven't run through a dude, you've got in like Paul was saying, some horrible spots, and yet you're still in there. You know, you're prepared to absolutely.
That's called life, man. You get in bad spots, you got to pull yourself out of them. Come on.
Oh yeah, absolute quality. Silky Wilkie, thanks again for that super chat, mate. Much appreciated. We want to get on to a little bit of some of the East versus West stuff as well, and I want to try and steer away from. And I'm interested. I want to pull everybody into this in terms of what we started with tonight here on the Fix. Is sort of like the next big thing, and Austin Jaggers, Derek Smith, and the up and coming crop from North America, another one of those guys, although he's not a new guy, he's just a guy you may not have known a lot about. Doug Ehrlich is just joining the call now. But there's been a little bit of buzz this week about the cousin of Levan Saganashvili. Now, if you haven't seen the match that's been announced, one of the new guys that I was just about to mention, who is the next big thing, possibly, from the United States of America. We saw him in action on an earlier East versus West, Adam Wawrzynski. And anybody that saw that match got a very clear indication of just how strong Adam is. The man is super powerful. However, the video footage that I've seen of the man that he will face, Bacho Saganashvili, looks terrifying. A guy looks like he is made for the game. Now I want to go to Engin and then Ray. Give us a little bit of background on this guy, how you came across this guy. We've seen footage go from a conversation after East versus West, where the Georgian guys were telling you about this fella Engin. Was he already very much on your radar, mate?
Yeah, he was. But did you watch today the podcast with Gennady and Devon?
Yeah.
You watch all? Because
I didn't watch all. I watched 3/4.
After Devon left, Gennady said that he said, Engin, do you think Adam can beat Zurab? And I said, like, if Adam just puts a break, I don't think it's gonna be easy match. And he said he can go to anywhere, you know, because
I love
anywhere
that
because of the endurance game. But he said he is in hook 50-50 with Surab. He said this young guy, and with outside he is even a little bit better.
Jesus
but
Christ.
I don't think this guy has enough of experience. I rate Adam very highly, you know.
Yeah, I do.
I saw this guy when he was 14, 15 years old at the European and World Championships. There was 15 years old category he won. And at the side table, he was beating the senior guys like this. And at that time, I was, you know, and then he was very much the COVID happened, and then this guy couldn't compete. And then there was a problem with the Georgian Federation and WAF. He still couldn't compete. So last 3 years, almost 4 years, his time is wasted, but he kept training. And then on YouTube, like countless Georgians, Bacho, invite him, Bacho. And I was like, you know, I even blocked some of them because writing the same thing all the time. And then finally, you know, Levan said, okay, how about my cousin? And I said, I will consider. And then the last event, you know, the Georgians like talk very highly about him. I was like, I mean.
And Engin, just to be clear, mate, is Bacho 17? Is it 17?
No.
18?
No.
How old is he
18
now?
or 19, 18 or 19, you know.
18. Let's say he's 19 years old, right? He's
either
still
18
very
or 19.
developed, isn't he? Like he looks friggin' incredibly powerfully built. Wrists.
I don't see him flashing. I don't see him flashing. You know, something You may be strong, but something's come with the time. You understand? This guy doesn't have international experience. I understand he's very strong, but Adam is a real deal guy. Understand?
Oh, yeah,
And
my
I
God.
saw him against Bojidar. I know how strong Bojidar is,
Mhm.
and I saw how he exhausted Bojidar. And I mean, this guy needs to be a Superman, to flash him. Otherwise, if he catches, that is gonna be even. I mean, I don't know. I just somehow I just can't see him beating Adam, but you never know because I didn't see except lifting the dumbbell, and some training videos, nothing else, So it is very, very hard for me to imagine someone is coming out of nowhere and just coming and beating like some guy like Adam. He needs to be real freak. But this is
So,
what the
Ray,
Georgian guys claim.
what do you know about this kid? Obviously, you've been around the junior scene quite a bit. You've got in Latvia one of the top juniors in the world, in Kristaps Blamanis. How much have you seen of Bacho? Where do you rate this kid?
Georgians have been out of it in Armwrestling last time when Georgians were 2019, right?
Mhm.
And so 4 years ago, how old he was? 16 at that time. So pretty much I don't really remember. I have seen a lot of videos
No,
where he lifts
unfortunately.
insane amounts of weight. But I looked at that match and I saw it, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, like you have to be insanely strong. You have to be world champion multiple times, 85, and it's not going to be enough to beat Adam. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah.
So either Adam's just gonna do this and look at his arm for 20 minutes, or maybe kid has something that we don't know. But I will be very, very surprised if Adam doesn't win that one.
Mm. How good do you believe Adam Wawrzynski is, Ray? From what you saw at East versus West, we know how good. A lot of people may not know just how good Bojidar Simonov is, but he was made to look. I mean, he was. Let's be honest, he was a much smaller man.
Yeah, I think like personally, I don't think that was the absolutely like the best version of Bojidar I have seen. I have seen way more motivated Bojidar, but Bojidar sometimes he will just walk around. He's like, "Oh, my arm hurts," and then he will destroy everyone. I think he did some wrong decisions. He pulled in Dubai like 2 weeks before or something like that, and that just made Adam more angry. But I think Adam at 90 kilos might be one of the absolutely the best guys. It looks like that. There's like he beat Bojidar, the guy that it's hard to beat, and it's so in such an impressive style, completely dominating, controlling. Again, looking just at his arm for 20 minutes. That's it. So
I think there was like 4 weeks or something between 3 weeks
okay,
or 4 weeks between
maybe,
Dubai
but
and
he won Worlds. Then like 2 weeks or a week later,
No,
later.
next week he
Yes,
pulled Dubai.
he went to
He lost
Dubai.
Gashevsky.
He lost to Gashevsky in a war,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
with his hand lost, and it takes away. It still takes away, in my opinion. But I think Adam, like for me, at 90 kilos, like let's give him Paul Lynn, let's give him Sasha
much
Andreev,
I like
let's give him Zoluyev,
Sasha.
let's give him some of those guys. Let's see what's up.
I think Adam and Sasha would be a friggin' because if who's the most powerful of the European 90 kilo hook pullers?
Yeah, it has to be Sasha. It has to be
Sasha
Sasha.
would be friggin'. I'd love to put that one in arm wars. Sasha being the arm
But
wars
I know the match is already, but
Paul is set there now. No need to put Adam there.
yeah.
Paul, have you pulled Adam, Paul?
Nope, never.
Where do you rate him?
It's hard to say. I mean, I know like the common grounds, like the guys that he's pulling over here. He had some like secret match with Justin and a bunch of other things. And all the video I see here, if he gets a stop, everybody's in trouble.
Mm.
I know earlier in his career, there was some susceptibility with speed and like initiation, but it seems like he's got that shirt up with that huge hand. So, I mean, I don't see I don't see anyone in his weight here going into a slow rolling like side pressure hook beating him. Like, and he's also immensely hard to top roll, as evidenced by Paul Talbot fooling him, who, even though Paul's known for his left, his right top roll is very, very high. So he wasn't able to get nothing on him Adam Turner, you know. So to me, like in the States, Adam's performance against Paul was really the bar for understanding, you know, what can he contain and, you know, where is he inside. So, I mean, I don't, at this weight in a slow rolling hook, I don't know who, you know, I don't know
Has
who.
Adam taken any losses, Paul, or Doug or Austin, any of the US guys that know in the last 2 years since we've been or since we've been pulling out of the pandemic? Has he taken any notable losses in the US?
Doug might know. Doug, do you know of any?
Last time I saw him was 5 years ago when I saw him, and I don't know any losses he's had. He was still kind of new when I saw him.
I know when I caught up with Chad when we got over to East versus West, the first day we landed, myself and James went downstairs to the signing where you guys all were, and we were and while you guys were all signing, and we're going to come down and do a little bit on camera with you. I caught up with Chad. I hadn't seen Chad for a lot of years. Loved Chad, and he was over near the windows. I went over and I said, "Oh, friggin' hell, Adam's looking massive, mate." And he said, "Oh, Neil, he is ridiculous." He said, "He's ridiculous. Watch this." And he was, wasn't he? He was freaking unbelievably strong. So since then, I've been wondering where's this guy's level actually at? And without putting him, like you say, Zurab, I love that match. It's, you know, amazing match. He's
eventually it will happen. Eventually it will happen. Now he's pulling Rob Wiggins, Zurab. And I mean, we will see that 95 kilo category. It is like very interesting one. Adam is there. Arthur there. Rustam is there. Zurab is there.
Yep.
Ajumrat Zole will be there. You know, we
the
will see.
Whole card, the East versus West card that we're going to see here. It's funny, and I mean, take this how it's meant, right? But whenever you've got Devon on a card, sometime all the notice goes on the Devon match because it's such a huge match. And especially when it's against someone like Gennady Quickvinia, who himself is an incredibly exciting arm wrestler. And it can almost take your focus off the some of the other amazing pulls that are underneath. And this Bacho match, number one, we get to see is the hype reel around this new up-and-coming kid who's carrying the name Saganashvili. I think it's an acid test against Adam Wawrzynski because I want to know how good that guy is. Super exciting match. You got RVJ and Zurab, which is friggin' incredible. I mean, it's the card is there's fewer matches, but it's stacked again and hyper interesting matches. Incredible match. You dug in there, obviously, against Daniel. I mean, talk about bite off a hard one. That is a difficult test right there.
I'll be ready.
I mean, holy Christ, you're not taking any easy matches, Doug. I'll give you that.
Right. Well, he offered it. I said yes right away. I'm not going to turn down a match. So, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to die, right?
No.
So, you know, I lose. The worst thing that happens is you lose. So,
yeah, but
I have no pressure.
You told me that you are in better shape, right now? August.
Oh, I'm in much better shape right now than I was against Ray. Like all my lifts are like up 20%. I mean, it's actually kind of stupid.
So Kirsten Prodigy in the chat with a super chat. Thanks, Kirsten. Hope you're good, mate. He's going to be pulling against John Terrian soon over in Australia in Canada, excuse me. Good to see you all on one screen, guys. Kirsten, great to see you too, mate. And then we've had the amazing White Wolf in with a super chat. Arm wrestling math, the most precise of all the sciences. He loves it. The White Wolf, ladies and gents, with that super chat. Yeah, mate, the arm wrestling math is a funny thing. It is a funny thing. And we may see another example of that very soon because Devon Larratt, Gennady Quickvinia, we saw Jerry Caderet beat Quickvinia. Gennady very confident today. I think on Engin's podcast, he said that he's going to come in 30% stronger. 30%.
I mean, he said that he made everything so personal. He's gonna punish Devon so badly. And I don't know how the match is gonna happen. But whenever someone like Gennady is talking, you cannot, I mean, underestimate him. It doesn't mean that he's gonna do what he says, but you cannot say bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's Gennady Quickvinia. Strong here, and here even stronger.
Such an exciting puller.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if you track, for those guys that are new to the sport, if you're a new fan to arm wrestling, right? From the time that this guy was pulling in the 90 kilo class at WAF, he's always been electrifyingly exciting. If you track back and find some of the history of Gennady Quickvinia when he's been coming up through the categories, he's a man who cut his teeth in the lighter weight classes. One of my strong opinions on the sport is that when the guys come up from those lighter classes, where it's not just about that top end strength and serving the ace, they do get a degree of technical prowess. When they layer that technical prowess and then put the size and the scale on, it can lead to something exciting. And if you look back at Gennady Quickvinia's rise to where he is now, you will see some incredible moments in this guy's career. Exciting moments when he's been on the receiving end of a match, looks like he's dead and buried, Austin Jaggers style the other day. Then suddenly the brakes go on. He turns to the crowd, shouts some satanic shit to the crowd. No idea what he said, but what I do know is that he meant every goddamn word of it. And then 2 minutes later, pins the dude and then does a 30-yard sprint and knee slides across the stage. Funny shit. Me and Engen in the crowd giving it this. All
Neil,
good times.
Neil, did you see what he said? He said Devon is gonna go like this, and he will be hitting him so many times that Devon will say, "Stop, please stop hitting me." And he will say, he's gonna make Devon say,
"Hey,
stop."
One of the things, right, that a lot of people will have some faith in Gennady is the fact that he has already pulled a top class Kings mover, although it's a very, very different opponent this time. He's pulled a top class Kings mover in Devon.
Stronger, Neil. Devon here is stronger than Michael here.
Oh, and longer.
Do you realize that when Lewan tried to go outside, totally outside against Devon didn't actually lose his wrist. He was like this.
Oh yeah,
when Lewan he did the same hit against Hermes's wrist went back, but Devon's wrist was just holding on. It was the same equal position with Lewan, and Devon had the same wrist handling. You understand?
All I can say with absolute certainty is this, right? Myself and Rolly Ray gripped up and pulled a little bit with Engen, with Devon at the match in Dubai. And then not long ago at the dark card. And I can assure you that that man is structurally different. I'm telling you, it's not. Yeah. There's no not debate. I mean, instant. Holy shit, that's different.
Yeah,
a man's thumb and hand and structure are significantly bigger.
The riser and everything. So,
oh God! As soon as I gripped up with him on the practice table, and Ray will tell you the same. You just feel it. It's like, what the? I don't understand. Much bigger, much thicker, hard to contain, and almost, this will sound far-fetched, but I'm telling you it's true, almost dislocates his wrist. Like the whole wrist dislocates. He holds his pronator with the strap applied, and you feel his wrist come out of socket and turn, and his arm has not moved. It's a very... Did you feel that, Ray, when you pull with him? It's friggin' weird.
What I felt with him, when I hold his hand, he was pulling his thumb like this way.
Yes, back.
Back, and he was so strong that it was really like making your grip uncomfortable. You understand?
Yes.
It was just, this thumb he was using.
And the thickness, thickness has increased by, I want to say, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, significantly thicker on the thumb. And as you roll at him with the strap applied, he doesn't lose any pronation, and his wrist goes with your hand. It moves with your hand. It's like it's come off his arm.
So
Very
that's the
weird.
difference. When Gennady pull against Michael, you see Michael going like this, but often his hand, wrist, you can see that he's losing, you understand, but still holding on. But with Devon, you see the worst case, his wrist is in a neutral, straight position. He doesn't really lose. So that will be the difference when Gennady is trying to pull against Devon's open arm top rope.
So, right, let's go around here and put the old cock on the block. And we'll start with Austin Jaggers. So, Austin,
Yes.
Gennady Quickvinia, Devon Larratt, close match, easy match in any direction, and who've you got?
I think Devon's got him.
Easy or hard?
First match, Devon might be smooth. After that, Devon starts tightening up.
So, easy, relatively comfortable day for Devon. Go, Gurley.
Devon might hit points the first one. And then after that, he'll stop an inch of the pad. He'll start tightening up. And then he'll either get back into a hook or he'll get to that smooth hook press. Like, where he's real tight going down.
Mm.
Now, he's strong.
Team North
but
America.
I don't think he's strong enough.
What do you think, Doug?
If they call fouls the same way they did last East versus West with the humorous being parallel, Devon's going to have some trouble on them fouls early in that, because I think Gennady's going to hit him to the pad, I believe, and the same way Prudnik did. And there was a couple that, they stopped one of the matches actually and gave him a foul because Devon's humorous dropped. So I think he'll have some trouble there early on, and Gennady has a lot of stamina. So we could see Devon foul out maybe first or second round, possibly, for maybe both. I don't know. And then after the first and second round, it's Devon. Devon usually can strangle you a little bit. So probably Devon 3-2.
So, yeah, hard, close match, but Devon sneaks it.
Yeah, I think Devon sneaks it out at the end. But, like I said, that them fouls are going to be they're going to come into play in this match. I'm telling you, I can see it happen.
The White Oak, Paul Lynn, who you got?
Man, I think it's going to be a super hard match either way, regardless of who wins. I just don't see this not being like super entertaining and long grinders. Like, I think that there could be a flash. I always think that there's like a potential flash with Devon. Even though he crowds the setup, there's always an opportunity for somebody to sneak one in. But I think like Austin said, he'll tighten up, and then we're going to see grueling, long, crazy matches because there's no quit in Gennady. He's like the body's 70% water, but Gennady's is 70% heart, like he's a warrior. So yeah. I got to give a slight edge to Devon based off of where his recent trajectory has been and kind of just the energy I'm getting off of him in general. To me, the big caveat is we just saw him down in weight pulling Prudnik and Pseudo down in weight pulling Sandras. Yep. So now we see, all right, I'm going to make the weight climb again. And last I had spoken to Devon prior to last East versus West, he was saying he was going to stay down unless something came up. And here, knock, here something came up.
I wonder if he will go that big, Paul. I don't know whether he'll go that big.
He will be 280 maximum. 280 maximum.
That's what I figured. But to me, 280 for Devon is still pretty big. So the real question is he even going to get to 280? Is he going to go like somewhere like 65, 70, lean and big and strong so that he can make weight fluctuations?
Yeah.
So I think all these things are factors in the match. But I think that there's absolutely no way that it's not like super, super entertaining. I would be surprised if it's not as entertaining as Prudnik's match. The match with
he was 265 before he dieted down for 253 for Prudnik. I think 265 is daily weight, and I think he will be minimum 275. I'm 100% sure, but maybe 280, but 275 minimum. and Gennady will be if he doesn't get injured or something, he will be in his best ever shape. His motivation is different. He sees this as a huge opportunity. I mean, imagine your own self. You know, if you have really, I mean, pulling Devon by thinking that you have chance to beat him, of course that you would go there like in a shape that you have never been. So just expect a war there. A war.
Here's the question
Don't
now.
expect anything like Sandris or Prudnik. Even the Prudnik round one was not bad, but after round one, first starts, everything was all over. For Sandris, almost everything right from the beginning, but this will be harder for sure, but we don't know how much. Gennady himself says that he has better endurance than Devon, which I doubt, but we will see.
The question for me, for like,
no, you okay, Paul, crack on him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But like, so when I wonder, because I didn't get to catch the live stream with Devon and Gennady, but like when Gennady says I'm going to come in my best form, does that mean bigger, or does that mean maybe I'm going to trim up a little bit and focus on this, you know, the cardio, the endurance required for this match? I'm really interested to see what happens there.
You know what he said? He said his endurance is incredible. He said for many years he's not running, but he can just go out and run like 10 kilometers like nothing, even like having any breathing issues. This is something like this, he said.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous because he's. I mean, the motherfucking shadow weighs 209 pounds. So if he goes out and does a 10K run, I mean, his beard is like 165. If he goes out and does a 10K run and isn't breathing heavy, wow. Rolly Ray, what do you got to say?
I want to see a tape of that 10K run.
I do, mate. I believe shit that he said there. He might win this arm wrestling match, but if he can run 10K and not be breathing heavy, mate, can you imagine? A bit of wet gets on that beard. The beard will weigh like
10K run. Okay, let's at least an hour, right?
Mate, I would be blowing out of my ass.
Let's do GoFundMe page.
Yeah, just to get that.
Just to get
do
that.
the run. Oh,
no. I think the match has absolute potential to be probably one of the best matches ever, or the match of the year, because both of the guys are crazy. Both of them can pull in any position. Both of them are, at this point, they know exactly, like Devon just needs to slow everything down. He just needs to slow everything down. And Gennady just needs to finish fast. I see a moment where most likely, even in round one, Devon will take Gennady's hand if he's trying to attack it from the center, not allow it to go straight for the kings. And then it's an interesting battle back and forth. I still like the longer like if Gennady comes in as a powerhouse that he usually does, and he doesn't care and he can just smash to the side, he can end this 3-0. But if Devon gets him going, gets something back and starts playing the game, then it, longer it goes, more it favors Devon. Because as much as you can say, oh, I have great endurance, Devon makes every match look the same. He exhausts every opponent the same if he can, if he needs to. And this Devon that we have seen lately, like literally different human, maybe not even human anymore, So I'm leaning more to Devon, but I'm afraid of the power that Gennady can bring. And Gennady can bring a lot of power, and it will be way more than Sanders brought. There's way more than Prudnik brought, way more than John brought. So, and we already saw in those matches that you can bring him to the side, even if you don't care about your wrist. And that's exactly what happened. Prudnik lost his wrist, went straight to the pad, almost pinned him. Same thing happened with John, and not Sanders, but there's a clear correlation. And if you look at Gennady's last match, he didn't care about that hand. He just smashed to the side. So I think both of those guys can win this. Closer it gets, more I will kind of figure it out. I think it, again, longer it goes, more it favors Devon, as it always. I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be craziness. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy on the table, off the table.
I agree. I think there'll
Stop,
be a
stop.
level for Ross.
Engin, is Jody coming?
As far as I know, no. But we will probably mark floor, and we will
Okay.
say you can get this.
For the
Paul,
safety
is
net,
your
though.
wife coming?
No, no.
Okay, we need to fix this situation right here. Okay, people pay a lot
Oh,
of
go
money
fund
to see
me.
good entertainment.
Hey, my wife found out Doug was coming, and she was like, "I'm not coming. You can room with him."
Mate, your missus, right?
Oh,
Your missus with that when we went into the bar at silly
Yeah.
o'clock on that last night, and she was
Yeah.
talking to that dude about getting us some drinks. So we can't find a drink anywhere. The bottle of vodka dropped out of my bag.
She's on level 10, man.
Mate,
She's
that
on
was
level 10.
awesome.
no, I
It
think
was,
it's
it was the slaughtered lamb moment when everybody just stopped and watched the bottle roll across the floor.
I think with all the craziness, because Georgian's gonna be crazy right there. They will be have full support of Gennady. Everyone will be there. As a backup, you need to bring Jody for them.
To offset it.
Absolute
The
class.
clash will be amazing.
So we had a super chat in from EHOC42. Thanks, mate. Much appreciate your super chatties. But I wonder why Derek Smith doesn't try to develop a nasty top roll. He doesn't seem to have the best leverages for hook pulling with his super long arm. Paul, do you want to take that one? You know Derek very well.
I mean, Derek, I would classify Derek as a primary top roll. Like he has it when he's like primed up, he's got a good solid high hook. He's not, I wouldn't say he's a great low hook wrist to wrist guy, but I think he is a top roller. And I think he's probably still in the process of refining that a little bit. But I think that's his move. His hand's strong for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just a developmental process.
You saw the evidence of that this weekend with Austin. Those first couple of rounds, that hand and wrist were rock. I mean, when Austin busted back on it hard, and it was very, very, very stout. It didn't go anywhere. Yep. I mean, the integrity in the wrist and hand looked great to me the first couple of rounds. It was only the arm strength and maybe the gas tank that let him down a little bit. Everything else was pretty robust. Thanks for your super chat, EHOC42. Much appreciate it, mate. Silky Wilkie, mega super chat. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. He's put, if you pull with an opponent with a style that beats yours, but only by margins, do you in some sense become inoculated? And therefore pulling that same style in any less quantity becomes insufficient to defeat you, therefore closing the lane.
Who's that one to?
Rolly Ray, go or Paul, either one. Go on, Rolly. Want to take that? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Sorry, yeah, I'm on a mute.
He was on fake taxi as well.
I'm always on fake taxi. Okay, so the question, if you pull with an opponent with a style that beats yours, but only by margins, do you in some sense become inoculated and therefore pulling the same style in less quantity? I'm trying to put my mind into this it's theoretical situation.
The articulation of it makes it tricky to respond
and therefore pulling the same style in any less quantity becomes insufficient to defeat you, therefore closing the lane. I'm an idiot. All I can say, I'm an idiot.
I think it's
so he's meaning if the style is your acid weakness, you know what I mean?
Okay.
If that style is your if that style beats yours,
but only by margins. But only by margins. But only by margins.
Yeah. So it's got. Well, I'm trying to think of an example.
I would just make that style better, and
example,
I would just figure out the lane where I'm getting beat, and most likely just improve on that one lane just a little bit.
I had a similar situation to this with Taras.
Go.
I had a where his style was just that little bit above my sort of comfort threshold, and I wanted to get into the straps, but it was hard to get the brakes on. So you'd try to get that move, and it was just that little too far. And the only time when I felt really comfortable when you went to straps, if you're on the practice table or something, was sort of turned and flattened. You'd flatten your wrist, but you pronate hard and drive to the side, a little bit like Todd Hutchins. and that would give you something. But getting the brakes on him, your autopilot was to run. You were thinking, oh shit, gonna get, because you could feel so much back pressure. It probably would have been better to let yourself be turned a little, lose your wrist a touch, and hit hard to the side. But it just took that little bit of mental. I think it was more of a mental concern than a physical one with me. That one, I think that style was just felt awkward. It was messing with my head.
Yeah,
and I think there's something in that. Sometimes a guy's got it feels weird, you know. I think that's where you need someone good in your corner to say, look, cut that shit out. You went a little bit through that with Rustam Babayev, I got to say, Paul. Where
that's what I said. If I was to try and interpret that very eloquent question, I would guess that, like, you know, if you're facing somebody who's slightly better than you in your lane, or you feel that early on, what do? Do you clam up? Do you try something new, or do you do the same thing only harder? And I think it depends on the puller, and I think everybody responds differently. And I think you're 100% right. Sometimes it takes somebody to put their foot the whole way in your ass and say, go harder, go at it, you know, only slight changes rather than drastic ones. I've experienced that a bunch here in my journey. And I think that that's the stuff that kind of helps you develop. You know, do you have the confidence to do the same thing, but just find a way to go harder? Or do you have to totally switch up and look for some chink in the armor?
How hard do you think it is in a match? Anyone on this one, Engin, Ray, or Paul? Where's the point in the match where you just think, you know what, bollocks, I'm glowing glory or bust, and just start hitting like a head case? Where if you get drilled a couple of times in it, you know, do you stick with, I just didn't get it perfectly correct? Because I see a lot of arm wrestlers that do. How many guys do you see that genuinely go through the lanes, go through the gears, who've got the balls to do it? It's not easy, is it?
Yeah. No, it's tricky. It's really tricky because, like, I've always subscribed to the thought process of, like, you're not going to beat me the same way twice. But that can also it can also really mess you up in that if you're going to places that you're not good at, just trying to search and try and find for things. Sometimes it's better to just say, now you're going to have to beat me in the same lane twice, and you're going to have to beat me there, me going a little bit harder or being a little bit more aggressive. But it's interesting because depending on the match and the opponent, depending on the environment, depending on the energy, either way could be the right or wrong decision.
And it's quite interesting today because if you look at a lot of the guys that are the most proficient pullers in the world, often I think there's a tendency to think that they can't pull another style. And that this guy just does this. And then all of a sudden, they pop something out of left field that you didn't know. I mean, let's be honest. Hermes Gasparini is a pretty good example of that. Who the hell knew? Yeah, who knew? Yeah. Who knew that guy had that much power there? I know we got a taste of it with Dave Chafee. You know, when he pulled Chafee, we saw it more. I know back in the day, we saw a little bit of that, you know, that he had more when he transitioned from the top roll to the press with Mike. But with his wrist busted back, almost the polar opposite of what the guy is known for, maintenance of hand and wrist. Who knew that guy was that strong? Did anybody actually know? I didn't.
Were you, Ray, were you in Malaysia in 2015 Wars?
No.
You were not, right? Yeah. Did you guys expect me to win that hook match against Zaire Akhmedov?
No.
Yeah, especially came till here, you know. So, I mean, just because we don't prepare, it doesn't mean that we can't, you understand?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think one of the hardest things that's very, very underrated in the sport is having the balls to go through the gears on game day.
Yep.
Yeah,
because you got that level of comfort, haven't you? That I do this well and it's going to work. It works with everyone. It's going to work. And going through the gears, really going through the gears and changing something, particularly when you're getting your ass handed to you.
Yes. You know what the interesting part of that is? You know what the interesting part of it is, Neil, is like when you're like, okay, I lost in this lane, but I felt a stop. I feel like I can compete there. But like, the question, are you willing to go to another lane and risk yourself losing even more dramatically or decisively?
Correct, Paulin.
Are you okay with losing the match but making it competitive, or are you
Yep.
going to swing for the fences and hit the home run? Are
Correct,
you willing
mate.
to do that at the risk of looking like you got
Looking like an absolute dick and getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
And because in your mind, it's a very, very, and I want to dwell on this point a little bit because it is massively important for new pullers, particularly for anybody, never mind new pullers, but it's so important because in your mind, I think there's an auto reset button, right? And it's shouting to you, oh, Jesus, this guy's just smashed me in my optimum lane. He's just, because your go-to moves where you're going to go first, and he's just beat me there. And if he's murdered you in that position, you get smashed. Your whole mindset is, oh my God, that was where I was absolutely at my strongest, and he ran me over. And if you know consciously that you're not as good in two other lanes, it's some balls to go to one of those. Because you think to yourself, well, this guy's just going to smash me to bits. And if you remember your match with Rustam, when I came over to you after and I said, I'll tell you what, hats off for going through the gears there and going somewhere else when you'd been leathered a couple of times. Hard thing to do. Very hard.
It's tough when you have a game plan and like, oop, yeah, I got shut down, you know, and you got to me, it's best to have several options and just hope you find the right one and are able to sustain it. But I think, again, it comes down to how bad you really want to win that match. Like if you're just there to prove like that you can compete, or if you really, really want to win and you're willing to put yourself out there and maybe make yourself look worse. And I think certain matches, depending on the mind state, are handled differently because of that. Like if you look at Hermes, and I think obviously Hermes truly wanted to win the match, but it took him to round 3 really to just say, screw it. I am going
roll
to
the shoulder in,
and I am going to just fight until I die.
I will share something. Hermes told me that after round 2, the Georgians around Lewan made a little bit fun with him.
Oh, they were poking at him?
Yeah, and he said that moment he turned on, he said that, Do you realize that, normally if he was losing the hand, he was kind of giving up, but that round, he just kept, pulling. Yeah.
So Hermes was pissed off.
He was pissed off. Yeah, this is what he told me. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm not gonna say who, this and that. But he said that they were laughing at him, just a little bit, and then he was like, "Okay, let's go." So he really makes it. Whenever you make it a little bit personal, it doesn't have to, you don't have to have a problem with that person. You can make it personal for your own self. That I have trained, I sacrifice everything for this moment. You understand? You can create something in your head, you understand? Yeah. And then for that reason, you can give your everything. You just need to find something and believe in it, you understand? And that moment, it's gonna become personal, and then, you just give your everything, that something that they on a car or something comes to little kids, body, and then mother just lifts up, and then normally she can't do that. She needs to have a very strong reason. Whatever the most important thing in your life, it can be money, it can be your honor, it can be your country, it may be your belief, whatever, you need to use this as a,
Yeah. So little story, little aside, guys, right? Eddie Hall. Okay. The night of the 500 deadlift, Leeds Arena. Like 10 to 15,000 people in the arena, atmosphere's off the hook, absolutely nuts, going for the half-ton deadlift. And went out with Eddie the night before, and he was telling me about a situation he was in where he was hypnotized to go up there. And when he got up to do the half-ton deadlift, he pictured in his own mind, or took his mind to a place which was a dark, horrible place, where exactly what you just described, Engin. He had to get up to the bar, and when he reached the bar, he went through a mental process that he'd actually prepared himself to do, that he would go up there, shut out the noise of the arena, and picture his kids trapped under a burning vehicle. And he had to lift this. And if he didn't get that burning vehicle off his kids, they'd die.
Yep.
And he literally said it was dark, but it was to try to tap into that primal rage that would allow him to just rip this thing off the floor.
Right. You know what's so
That's
interesting?
scary, isn't it? But
it's almost always something negative that triggers that response. Visualization of something negative. Visualization is so huge in every competitive sport, anything that requires anything physical. And it gets neglected, but I think some of the best arm wrestlers that we see on the planet, Devon is one of the first ones that come to mind. He's just a master of control of the mind. But like when you look into all sports, look at Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Buster Douglas is a 40 to 1 underdog. And Buster Douglas's mom dies at 2 weeks before the fight. And everybody says, cancel the fight. And Buster Douglas says, no, I'm fighting for my mom, you know, and goes out and knocks Mike Tyson out. This is competition. We should talk more about this. These guys they got it right up here.
Mate, when Eddie told me that, when he told me that, I was like, whoa, that's different gravy. That's like, whoa. I say, you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. That's what I did.
Amazing.
And I was like, bloody hell, Eddie, that is dark, mate.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
But it's the idea of putting yourself in a position where you're a cornered animal. If you can do that, our pursuit for success, I think, is far outweighed by being cornered with nowhere else to go. So if you can put yourself in a position where there are no other options and all you have to do is everything you can do, fight, I think that's where you tap into, and it's not easy to do that. But the mental game.
So looking at the mental thing another way, right? So Rolly, you spend all your time coaching with the Voice of Arm Wrestling, putting that stuff across. If you were taking a guy, and I know you do your online coaching and so on, if you're taking a guy, right, it comes into pulling, or even an experienced arm wrestler who's got a dialed in lane, you know, so we could go around and you'd say, okay, Engin, what's your strength? And you'd say, okay, hand wrist, primarily a top roller. I would classify myself in tournament as primarily a top roller. Paul, where would you classify yourself? You see yourself as top roller hook mainly?
I'm confused. probably.
What about arm wrestling?
Don't tell anybody. I like.
Yeah, I've already been sticking a chat for that. You can't come out with that on here. Well, Doug, where are you at? Are you confused? Where do you see yourself?
You're talking about motivation?
No,
one of the biggest motivation.
I'm going to go down the training route.
So motivation, one of the biggest motivation is haters. Those guys that, you know, whatever you do for the community, they still go and bitch on the chat rooms. They are also good motivation, those bitches.
Yes.
But if you were going to train a guy, Ray, right, who's got a defined style, how much would you say to them they should focus on sharpening that primary weapon, that primary lane, secondary or tertiary lanes? So if you're a top roller, how much do you put towards making that top roll invincible? So you've got that acid weapon. How much time do you put into strengthening your tertiary and secondary lanes to make those strong? And how much do you apply the old head games? Where do you apportion your level of commitment to each of those elements?
The main thing that wins the matches is the main thing you should be working on. So until you lose, you know, that's where you need to improve something. And it's not necessarily develop a different style. It may be develop an antidote to where you lost, you know. So sometimes you will encounter something you haven't encountered before. Someone does some technique very weirdly, some just adds pressure differently. So just sharpening that one iron, like have that ace in your arsenal. And if you can switch it up, it's great, but always have that ace. And then you can, you know, you lose, you figure out where you lost, what you need to improve. And if it's possible, improve on that. But the mental games, I think it's more in competition mode. Like preparation, you can see when someone is lazy or you just had a bad day or something, you know, bad things motivate better than the good things. You know, no one is like, if you're extra nice to someone, it doesn't really motivate them. Like I'm a nice person, but in the gym, I'm really harsh. I will say how it is. I'm like, you don't want to train, just get the F out, because it's like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. In competition day, it's different for every different athlete. And like some guys, like literally Vlad needs to puke. If Vlad doesn't puke, something's wrong. So it's like that. And everyone has their own, like some you need to say, like this guy will beat you and that guy will beat you. And for some, you need to tell they are the greatest. And that's still, you kind of learn on the road and you figure it out.
So let's go to Doug, right? And I mean with the greatest of respect, and you might prove me to be a fool, okay?
Hey, I gotta run. I have to get up very early.
Oh, good time to leave right now,
See you, mate.
Good time to read, because I was just about to leave, because I was just about to go in on you.
Yeah. Good luck. Bye.
Catch you soon, Rolly. So
I think Douglas, he's gonna say that Daniel is gonna beat you.
Not necessarily going to beat you, but I am going to say that I think most of the arm wrestling world will consider, and we've spoken about this privately, incidentally. So this isn't like I'm not trying to expose Doug or make Doug look bad. This is a genuine feeling of mine. If you're going into a situation and you are widely perceived as an underdog, okay, what do you use for your motivation, Doug? Are you going in there with all goodwill and high spirits for this guy? You're thinking, okay, well, I've nothing to lose, I'm just going to swing for the fences. Or do you use some kind of mental, like the Eddie scenario? Do you try and piss yourself off? Do you try and create scenarios in your mind to get you up and get you doing what you do? What's your motivational factor, Doug, in a match where you feel like a lot of people might see you as that underdog? Is it about proving them wrong? Is it about, what is it?
I shared a post the other day that said, I don't believe I'm the best. I don't think I'm the best. I just believe I can do things that other people think are impossible. And, this is a different match, a much different match than Ray, a whole nother level. But I mean, I went right through Ray. I had toyed with him, and I was nowhere near as strong as I'm going to be coming into this. When I get to the table, I'm going to treat Daniel just like I do everybody else that's across the table from me. I get mad right out the gate. Inside, I'm fired up, and I don't know. It's hard. It's like a switch.
Where does the mad
off.
come from, Doug? Do you picture this guy having done something? I mean, do you? How far do you take that? Is it deeper than what's on the surface? How do you piss yourself off?
I got a certain person's face.
Douglas, I think, Neil, even you to say that the majority of the community is thinking that he is underdog.
Yeah.
Even this is a motivation for Douglas to, like, I'm gonna disprove. I'm gonna prove that you guys are wrong. That I think at the moment, that the motivation shouldn't be all the time the same. I think it should be every match has a different story. Now, people think that he's heavily underdog, he's gonna lose, and I think that is, you don't need another motivation. He's just gonna. I think it's enough. He's just gonna go there and prove all of us that, hey, listen, I'm
Because
better.
you've got a guy like John. John doesn't use any of that. He couldn't like another day at the office. There's no personal at all. It's just he doesn't need to fire himself up. He doesn't. He just goes in and it's like,
his motivation. Do you want me to tell you his motivation? Whenever he pulled against Irakli, there was an elbow foul on Irakli, and we saw it, and everyone saw it, and John said, "No, I'm not gonna pull. I'm done." And Robert Baxter went to him and he said, "John, if to win this round, if there was some extra money, would you pull?" He said, "Oh yeah." You understand?
Hanging around with Travis.
Yeah. Yeah, so probably I should ask him, John, you win this round and you get another, 1,000, you understand? And then probably, I don't know, I don't want to be, but this is what Robert Baxter said. And from now, we like they will, okay, I don't want to go deep into the details, but I know, I think the agreements will change with John from now on, just to motivate him more.
So let's get back to Doug, because sorry, mate, but I don't want to let you off the hook on this one. I still want that answer from you, Doug. So where's the anger? Where's it come from?
There's a certain person's face that I'll put right on top of his. Like there's somebody that drives me to that point of anger that there's no coming back from, and it's inside. So now what Engen's talking about is, I have 100% of that, wanting to prove people wrong, wanting to prove to Engen that he's made the right choice of bringing me over. I told him that actually in private, but I want to prove it to myself, prove everybody else wrong. It's not even prove it to them. I don't know. I get that the anger comes from some dark places. So I try to bring myself to that point. If you see me, I didn't even really pay attention to my own face as well, obviously. But when I went back and watched the match and you see me listening to Paul, it's real. I'm catching most of what he's saying, but I'm almost blacked out. Like I don't hear the crowd. It's like, it's a deafening silence. I literally hear no one yelling, no one cheering. It's quiet. And I'm just focused on getting into a position where I can win the match. And
you know what?
This
as an organizer, this excites me more than anything else. That someone has that hunger to prove himself. There is nothing better than this. There is nothing better than this. Like someone who is like coming there for money. Money should come, but that shouldn't be like the money. Like for me, cannot be like I have some things in me that it can't be bought with money. You understand? I do that just to fulfill my dream. My dreams can't be bought, so I do it just for myself, and then money automatically comes as a bonus. So whenever Douglas is saying that, he wants to prove himself, he's gonna go there. As an organizer, I love that one. That mindset is, he will be successful or not, it doesn't matter, But this is the right mindset.
So we just had a super chat coming from Silky Wilkie. What a leg end. Silky, thank you very much, mate. He's put, I believe arm wrestlers of a higher caliber provide a multi-pronged challenge. Someone forcing you to be meticulous in so many areas of the technical game until the point of mental overwhelming, beating you on fronts in which you aren't even aware. Yeah, that's an interesting one, mate, because as I say, with all the, everything we're talking about on the mental side of things, I'm going to say that Engen, watching you through your early career, when you were 55 kilos, 65 kilos, 60 kilo, that guy, when you were on the rise, the amount of venom you had
till the mid 2000s, you are saying, before,
mate, you were a horrible bastard to pull, because you had so much fucking venom, just like you would hit the pin and boom, you'd like spin off like a top, explode off somewhere. And it wasn't directed at the guy who you were pulling.
No.
It was just boom. You'd fire off to one side and scream some horrific stuff. And it was just, you were out like in a wild place. At that time, what was driving that?
Neil, do you realize that at that time there was not really cameras, no social media, nothing?
Nothing.
It was 100% real.
Oh my God, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And
oh my God. But what was driving it, mate? Where were you like that when you came into the building?
I will want to explain something that I didn't even give a shit what other people was thinking about me either. No. You understand? I pull in US, everything I did was only for myself, for my satisfaction. I wanted to be best, like my dreams. I didn't care. But later I realized that, oh, okay, people are talking highly about me. there was, maybe you remember or not, but there was a Pinnacle Arm Canada forum. There was, they made a poll about who is the best pound for pound arm wrestler in the world. It was like around late 90s. And John had like 57%. I had like 32%. The other guys like 3%, 4%. At that moment, then I realized, wow, people are thinking highly about me. I didn't even know because I didn't give a shit. You understand? Like
what was the year you pulled Eric Wolfell and bloody Ron Bath at the
97, and he was the current WAP super heavyweight champion.
Were you like
and I was
65? What did you weigh then?
63 kilo. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, just like I realized, okay, what was driving me? That I don't know. I just promised myself that I'm gonna win, and I had to do it. You know, it's just like, you know, like the most important thing in the life. You know, remember I told you about when I took second place in the world. You know, I
love that. You're nutter. That was awesome. When you were like, I cut my arm off.
Yeah. At that moment, you know, it was just like I had really strong here. I could lock myself there. Do you remember Bogdan Borisenko?
Oh yeah.
He was very smart guy, you know, the Ukrainian guy. He took second to Italy in 1999. After I beat him, he came and walked to me, and he said that also the Wrestler told me this. They told me that, you know, most of the success was also coming here. You know, Neil, whenever you do everything like this, people are thinking, oh, this guy is fast. That's why he's winning. They don't even realize, I mean, like how many spots I'm hitting at the same time to do that. You know, the speed without control and power is nothing. You know, I mean, you will do something, but not that level. You understand? And I never train speed. I do everything slow. But whenever everything you do like this, and then you add the speed, and then the guy is going like this, and people are saying, "Oh, this guy is fast," you know. But they don't even realize how many hours, thousands of hours behind that for that training to do that kind of thing, you know. But it's just very, very hard, you know.
Going back to what Silky Wilkie said, they're beating you on fronts you didn't even. You were not even aware of, and that is half of it. People, but there are things you're taking away from in that match. You're like, what the Svetan used to do it, and people would have this lost look on their face, like, how the friggin' hell did he do that? Like, it didn't feel, you weren't sure how he beat you. It was just you'd feel a little click in your arm, and then he's away giving his number in, and you're like, what the just happened?
Neil, more the things became how to say, less private. I think that the focus is getting less. You know, I don't see in the new generation those kind of professors so much. You understand what I mean? Like those guys
become more methodical in some ways because the thought process isn't as unique. A lot of it, people can shortcut there because back in the day you had to be you were digging a little deeper. Now a lot of the information, at least 70% of the information to get to a high level, is readily available. It's on Voice of Arm Wrestling.
But listen, nothing is as effective as, you know, like you to read and try to apply something is not same as you to analyze, think hours and hours.
10,000 hour rule.
Yeah, and do it because you know, by knowing, you know, why you need to do this. You understand? It's totally different thing. Yeah. So many of those guys are programmed, while you are the programmer. You understand? You think and then find out everything by yourself, and then more. I'm telling you, like less private the things are getting, and more people are doing things for others to. Do this, you understand? And then it is kind of, you know,
more grandstanding, less, you know, more people doing things for the effect, for the applause, for the plaudits, grandstanding. A lot of people talking with conviction and confidence who don't really know what they're talking about. That's another thing that you get a lot.
My form when I pull the super match against Viorel Dobrik, Do you think that at that form I have a shot at 85 kilo?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
without
think
doubt, yeah.
like against someone like Samusha?
I love that match.
Yeah.
Definitely. I love that
And
match.
another question: 85 kilos Zolev Hajimat, 85 kilos Samusha.
Well, I mean this in the nicest possible way, but I'm a little concerned about Hadji where he is. We're all getting older. You know what I mean?
Come on,
And,
he's 10 years younger than me. He's 37, only 37.
but he's
38.
not looked to the same, mate. If in listen, Hadji's amazing, but I don't know where he's. A couple of times I've seen him out, and I've thought, is the motivation there the same? Is it lacking a little?
No,
less?
he's coming back. He's coming back. Yeah.
If
there
he comes
are
back, if
times.
Hadji comes back and he's firing on all cylinders, and he's
Yeah.
focused and motivated and 100% head in the game, he's mega. And I would say that he's probably the favorite. I do believe that Samusha, who's one of my favorite guys in the sport, I think he's really humble, exceptionally strong guy. I think his time is right now. I think he's on the rise, and I think he's in the fast lane. He's very focused. He's improving right now. I would need to see Hadji come back and where his head's at.
And another question: were you surprised when Samusha exhausted Prokopchuk?
No, bigger dude. No, because the writing's already been on the wall on that one, mate. We've seen those. Well, I've seen, maybe some of the guys who are newer haven't seen it, but you'd seen evidence of that in the past with matches that David's been in, where it look, for example, the match with Boshidar, unbelievable career enders. The guy's got staying power for days. He's mega strong. So David's, for me, nothing to prove in that respect. He's ridiculously strong. Ridiculously strong.
If I win my match, I'm coming for defeat. So don't forget about that. I'm climbing. I'm coming.
That would make sense if you did something with
we
Daniel.
Don't know.
Mate,
we don't know.
Sense.
First, Brandon is gonna pull David. Who knows? Whenever I saw Craig couldn't hook Brandon. Craig is very good about this hook, but he couldn't. Brandon pronator and back pressure was strong enough to not to allow Craig. So that may be the case with Samusha as well. And only thing that Samusha can also pull that way, but once Brandon puts a break, he also has the good endurance too. He can fight and he can do weird things at table as well. So I mean, it totally depends, how much power Brandon is gonna lose when he is making. I also offer him a 95 kilo match, but he chose 85 kilo. So because it was a title match for 95 kilo, that is very, very hard to get that title match directly. That not many people, So if 95 kilo, Rustam, Zolev, Sasho, these people are on the line.
Sasho is a weapon. That's another one. Let's just knock over this super chat. Troy Tula with the super chat. He's put, looking good, gentlemen. I'm late to the party, but happy to watch now. Stay strong. Love arm wrestling, mate. Thanks for your super chat. Thanks for checking out the show. Just to let everybody know, we're going to be on here another 5 minutes or so, and we're going to jump off. We've been on for about an hour and 30 minutes. It's been an interesting show tonight. Now, I want to go back and finish on this with Paul, because I know one thing I would say about you, Paul, is of all the arm wrestlers on the circuit right now, or on the rise, on the climb, you're arguably the most professional. I get there's a rich vein of diligence running through you, mate. Every time you see you, I mean, your conditioning at the last East versus West, I mean, you look like you've been carved out of Zeus's tooth. You obviously had done a great deal of work mentally coming into that. Where do you put your head going into a match? Because I look at your opponent's set that you've pulled recently, and let's go back a couple of matches, okay? Rustam Babayev, you were probably an underdog. John Brzenk, definitely an underdog. At the time, Ron Bath, probably an underdog, I would say. But a lot of there's a theme that's run through these. And Gam Tanadze, I didn't expect you to do that. I figured that was a much trickier much more dangerous match, and you
was
actually
like this.
murdered his ass. Like, it wasn't even close. But you've been into these scenarios where you've taken tricky, dangerous matches and done exceptionally well. Where are you putting your head going into that? Do you like being an underdog, or does that piss you off?
So before we even get into that, this was like one of my most enriching conversations to listen to on the fix, because all the guys on and them sharing their perspectives on the idea of the mental game, which I think is so important, and I think it's so under discussed. We talk about technique, training, and all these good things out there, but like, what are the best guys in the world? The guys who have done it at the highest level. What are they doing? That's what I'm interested in. Not what are they doing physically, but what are they doing with their head? Because like Engen talked about, like if a mother can pick up a car off of their infant, where does that strength come from? Because it's not physical, right? Like where the human body.
It's for the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's weird. It gets into this weird level of like, what do you believe in and stuff? But let's be honest. The strength of the human brain allows.
We are limiting ourselves. We are limiting ourselves, but you can unlimit yourself with using some heart and some spirit.
It's so huge and it's so important. So like, I guess for me, I've always said I want to be the underdog. And I understand that through other sports and competition. I know that the kids that I coach or the teams that I played on, almost always, if they're able to get their minds right and believe and have a sliver of belief that they can do things that they're not expected to do, it's good to have no one expect you to do it. Not because it allows you that safe space to be able to lose and save face, but rather that motivation to say, I believe and nobody else does. So what can that belief take? Where can that take me? So for me personally in preparation, of course, there's always that I want to prove people wrong thing. And like Engen said about Hermes, like the Georgians poking them, that's always added. If somebody jabs at you a little and you're able to take it, we call that locker room material. Like if there's an interview where an opposing team says some things in an interview, print it out, see it every day, look at it, let it become a motivator. Those are small things, but for me personally in preparation for, competition, I talked to Doug about this quite a bit, and we talked even when we were over there. For me, I'm a spiritual dude to a level, and I feel like I can only achieve so much on my own. If I'm resting on myself, I can control what I can control. I can prepare, I can go to the gym, I can pick the right training partners, I can go harder than I've ever gone before, but I still don't have control of everything in that competition, right? So if I need that extra boom, 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 that step up, man, I say a prayer, I have a ritual I go through to get my mind right. And I only need, like, I can go to East versus West and I can get into all those other matches. If I have 10 minutes to reset and go through my routine and say my prayer and say, listen, Lord, give me the strength that I know that I don't have without you, and get my mind into that state where I'm believing, to me, whether it doesn't always work out and you don't always win, and that's part of the process of understanding what's meant to be will be. But I want to be able to, I could never have competed for the years that I have and the things that I've done without the extra added, like, subconscious release of saying, I've done all I can do. I'm going to go out and do all I can. And I'm going to count on a little extra, maybe coming from somewhere else. So for me personally, I think this is the biggest thing in competition as a whole. And this is a huge role that I play in coaching, is the motivational aspects, because I believe it, because I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen people achieve things that they're not supposed to achieve. Like Doug said, exactly basically what Doug said. I believe I can be the best in that moment, or I can do things that I don't know I can do. That's everything in competition. And when you get the belief,
whenever someone has that kind of mindset, strong mind, and if the guy is smart enough to know what he's talking about, that guy is a dangerous guy for sure. And also Paul has some extra advantage. As far as I know, he's a coach for football team.
Yeah.
This guy is, most of the times, Neil, that I was successful are the times that I'm teaching others. Whenever you're teaching others, you understand, it is not only teaching the specific things for the game. You understand? You are also teaching about motivation and everything. You understand?
Subliminal. You're internalizing everything.
most of the
subliminal.
times we learn also
Yes.
while we're teaching, you understand? And
Yeah,
the guy has
refreshing.
huge, big discipline. You know, Paul has incredible level of discipline. You know, when
Yeah,
you
very
say at the
professional.
beginning, yeah, this is what you said.
Very
Exactly, this
professional.
is the guy, you know, and the guy also, he as he describes himself, he is spiritual person.
Yeah.
You know, like he has everything he needs. You understand? This guy, everything. It doesn't mean that nobody will ever beat him or something, but this guy, 99% of the times, this guy will perform at his best. If somebody beats him, it just means that the guy is better than him. It's very normal. But this guy is not going to lose because he didn't perform good. This guy is going to perform as good as possible. And that's the most important thing. Nobody is unbeatable.
No, they're not. They're really not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And you know,
I'm glad
also see
Paul enjoyed
Jaggers.
that, because for me, I mean, everybody who knows me knows where my head is at in arm wrestling. For me, all combat sport for me is literally 70% here. All of it, the top to bottom. You can achieve.
Douglas
so
is also the same way. Douglas, the confidence that he has, I'm not saying he's gonna win the next match or lose. It's not my business. I'm organizer. But the guy has the right mindset. He's not intimidated.
No.
He's not intimidated. That's the most important. You need to believe. You can do it or not. You cannot just go there with half-hearted and then say, you know, you're gonna lose that match unless you know the other guy sucks. You understand?
If your foundation is strength, it's secondary to if your foundation is mental. If your foundation underpins everything you do. And if your foundation is here and you build from there down, the level you can achieve within yourself, in my opinion, is way higher.
Mhm.
You can have the most powerful physique in the world, the strongest, everything can work fine for you. But on game day, if this collapses, the whole thing will come down like a pack of cards.
You need to be really psychopath as well. You know, you need to be. Whenever I was pulling, how do you call those things that are the building is holding, the column? You call that column?
Okay,
Like,
yeah, column.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever like I was competing, like I was just saying that okay, this is the column, and I'm not gonna arm wrestle. I'm gonna hit there so hard. I'm gonna break my own arm, whomever. I'm gonna hit so hard. I'm gonna break my own arm. So I was hitting the guy. I'm hitting the wall. You understand? So, but the guy wasn't wall. But my like, if you think you're gonna arm wrestle the guy, you need to bring the arm.
Mhm.
And then if you think that you're gonna hit so hard that you're gonna bring on your humerus, trust me, you are generating different level of power. You understand? But you really need to be like really brave and say like, you know, just whatever, you know, boom, you know. And then whenever you hit the guy, you see that, you know,
Mhm.
you understand? You need to really
I
play with
know
yourself.
when I bust my arm, I was not the same after that point for that reason, because there was some mental scarring in my own mind that I struggled to overcome that prevented me from through the red line hit. You understand what I mean? Where you would hit with absolute fucking abandon, like you didn't care. Like I would picture someone you're driving hard to the side. I would pick because I hit with no load. So from nothing, absolutely. I used to try and picture myself in a dark room. I was gonna jump out on you, just out of the darkness, and I'd load like a spring. Nothing, no pressure, and then and just absolutely blast. But you had to do it with no backward step, no hesitation, and go through the pad, not to it, through the thing. And when I bust my arm, I don't know why, but I couldn't get past doing it. I couldn't do it. I can't tell you why. Something failed. I couldn't do it. There was a mental.
Neil, do you believe that? Do you believe that
ruined me.
your spirit sometimes can lead you better than your mind? Like many of the things, if you plan doing some things, you are not gonna do very well. But you may just go to bed. The World Championships is 3 weeks away. I'm telling you what I used to be. I turn right, left. I cannot get up. I go restroom, turn the light on, and I find myself like hours, like doing this and thinking. You understand?
Yeah.
I found myself like while we were at the national team camp, everyone was laughing, and I was like this, and they were saying that this guy is mentally ill. They think that like I was just living that moment like countless times, because I don't know myself only. Like if you remember when I beat Sakilo in '99 Europeans in Hungary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy for 5 years, he didn't lose anyone except
No.
me. Yeah, I pulled with him in my mind like thousands of times, when I beat Grigoriev at Canada, I pulled with him in my mind thousands of times. I did
Well,
that
that was
match.
a hit, mate.
Yeah, and I beat him in hook.
That was a hit.
Remember.
You didn't make the top roll. It went through, just.
Do you know why I didn't do it? Do you know why
through.
I didn't? Because the guy was just like this, and
Yeah.
once he goes behind, someone is
And
stepping
it was
on
just
you.
it was sheer momentum. He closed it. He closed the shoulder. It just went straight through.
Yeah,
That was
because he was
just a
coming to me.
blazing hit.
I had two options, One, I was gonna go like this. If I topple, I was gonna beat him. But if I did this, if he put his shoulder and then you feel like somebody's stepping on your arm with his feet, just he was that strong. You remember that guy,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But what I did when he is coming to this way, I just drag him so he was
landed on top of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying that you need to do all these things thousands of times, But I'm telling you, you really need to have self-respect, to really. You cannot do these kind of things half-hearted. You need to give all your heart. So then it's possible, But whenever you think like I tell you what, more we do things in this modern time about what people will think, what people will say. You understand? It is no good. You really need to dream it, and you do everything for your dreams. Nothing is more important than whatever people says. They praise you or something. It's just forget about it. And also more you you enjoy praise. You understand? Trust me, that's your biggest enemy for progress. Like whenever I do the East versus West, I said no, we do that all together. This is how it is, in fact. But no good. When you enjoy, I'm something, I'm some shit. You understand? Where the progress will end. You really need to, like after every event in arm wrestling, when I was competing and when I'm organizing event finish, I'm like, okay, where did I make mistake? What was wrong? You understand? This. If you focus these things, next time you'll be better. But if you focus on how good I was, everything was so great, everyone praised, then you are not gonna progress. This is my mentality, at least,
Yeah, I would agree 100%, mate.
Yeah.
So we just got a super chat in for, oh my God, Stephen Pena. Where I haven't seen this guy for ages out and about, mate. He's put, it's your long lost son, Stephen Pena. I love you, Neil. Oh, he'll be here to support. Love all you guys on the call. Stay sexy for me. The king. Mate, Stephen, welcome back, dude. I haven't seen you for ages. Hope you and your family are well, mate. Good to see you back in the chat. Guys, we're gonna end it there and jump off. It's a late finish. We've been on here for over an hour and a half. Oh, one more we got. Tabletop arm wrestling. Excuse me. Super chat's just come on. Did you see 19-year-old named Cole Casper beat Roman Gromov left-handed this past weekend? I did not see that. But I do know Cole Casper, and Cole has been on my radar for quite a while.
That's good.
Yeah.
You focus
Very
on new
solid
guys.
Cole.
Yeah. And Neil, I have a question for you. Do you think that it has been possible, Douglas, to top roll Daniel?
It's not impossible, no. I think, no. We talked about this. I do see Daniel as a very, very difficult opponent to beat. I think that he is more beatable on the right arm. I don't think Daniel is as good on the right arm. I think he's mega on the right arm. But he can be beaten.
Better.
Because let me give you an example, okay? And what I mean by this is I know that his hand and wrist can be accessed by someone like Mindaugas. Okay? Mindaugas is an exceptional top roller, phenomenal puller, but much smaller than Doug. Got tremendous weaponry for the weight. So if you look at Mindaugas, when you're up close with Mindaugas, he's got a long forearm. He's got a very large hand for the class. But when you meet Mindaugas and you actually frame the guy up, he's not as big as Doug. Doug's a big lad, big frame, big guy. Therefore, just following this through logically, if Doug can access the hand, he also probably has more horsepower, just raw top-end power, because I know Doug has a great deal of that. And we saw that evidenced with Ray, who's a very strong lad.
So you are saying that if somehow he top rolls Daniel, you think that possibility to pin him is higher than Mindaugas?
Yes.
Chance against, yeah. And how are you, Douglas? Do you remember yourself being pinned with that wrist?
I've never been pinned with a dead wrist, but I haven't faced it very often. So usually if I get their hand, it's going the other way. So I've been watching a lot of Daniel's videos, and I've seen him win without his hand a lot. So I know that will most likely come into play if I get into that position. So
Do you
I mean,
expect him to go outside, or you expect him to go inside first?
I honestly think he'll make his mind up when he feels the setup. I don't know. I have a plan for the first round in particular, and if it goes if it goes the way I want it to, I think I win the first round. But he'll make adjustments. I mean, I think he'll try to hook me. Honestly, I do think he'll try to hook me.
I suggest you to train a lot in strap.
Yeah, I've noticed he goes. He'll come straight out of the grip. He gets to the straps if he wants.
You didn't go to strap with Ray in a round, right?
No, second round it felt like he was trying to slip underneath when I took his hand, but I had a death grip on his thumb. So,
are you as good in strap?
Oh, I love the strap. I actually would have preferred the strap. If Ray would have said he wanted to go to the strap out the gate, I would have went straight to the strap all three matches. Yeah, I actually prefer the strap.
Do you know how to pull this a little bit whenever you need?
Pistol grip.
Oh yeah.
Hands? Oh, you do?
Yeah,
okay.
That's one of my plan A, B, or C. I can't really say yet, but I have a little bit of a slight dump in hit to position. You know, I don't go all the way. I don't usually fully dump to start. I might slightly dump and then hit to that spot. So it just depends. I kind of did that in the second round with Ray. Slight, and then hit to more of a dump into their bottom fingers. Just be first.
I'm organizer and I don't really, take side, but I kind of want. I'm not talking about this specific match, but I want North Americans to be successful because, like in heavier classes, they are already, like Jerry is there, Devon is there, John is there, Pauline, Tatachings, that's very Adam, and then lighter weight classes, I want, North Americans to be competitive so that, we can see a lot of East versus West matches because it looks like just for 75 kilo, like you are not going to bring someone from North America, no disrespect, to do the world title match against Aydarkhan. Next match would be either Makarov or Alan Zolev or Emil Arshadian. Am I right? Yeah. I mean, these guys, is their mix, but I would love, as the past days, like Jerry Jennings and Cobra and Dave Patson, Alan Fisher, those times, I want North Americans to be successful in welterweight in the lightweight category so that, that we can see some East versus West matches. That's all I want. Yeah.
It's coming, mate. It's coming. They're out there.
And you can say it. I know you wanted to say it. You want me to win. Don't worry about it. Nobody's gonna care.
I cannot say that. I cannot say that.
We all felt it.
So
We
many
all felt
haters.
it in that
I
speech.
do everything for this community for 30 years. As an athlete, as a trainer, as an authority, as a making guy, and as an organizer, people throw shit. So I better be careful. Those
Oh, I
haters.
know.
Don't worry about
We
it.
felt it. We felt it in that speech, though. That speech was about me. I get it.
Underdog story, man. Underdog. Everybody roots for that.
Let's
I
go.
want you to win, Doug. I want you to win.
Listen. Daniel is 75 kilo competing guy. Maximum I saw him 82 kilo. He will be around 82 kilo. I don't know what Douglas will be there on that day, but not sure. I don't get me wrong, Douglas, but I didn't get enough information when you pull against Ray. Ray is
Me
very
neither.
good, but Ray is not really elite guy, not like, like especially if Russians, Kazakhs, Georgians, everyone is there. It is very, very hard for him to make top 3, you understand? He did it, he made top 3, but there wasn't those guys around, you understand? So he is good, very good, but not really. But also Daniel is how he is now. He cannot make top 3. I don't think in 85 kilo in the WAF. Do you think he can make, Neil? I don't think so. 75, yes.
Yeah,
80,
he's not
80, yes, maybe.
Yeah, he's not a big
85,
enough man.
No. Yeah. So what I'm just saying that I don't know how good Douglas is. I have seen Douglas. Am I wrong that you pulled Gospodino a super match once?
Yeah, I didn't really feel him either. I was gonna say I just did a good gauge off of pulling Ray because I didn't really feel him, so I don't really know where I'm at, honestly.
So this is what I am thinking, that your level, and Gospodino is also not like top 3 guy internationally, especially right arm, but left arm.
We did that match at 80 kg. I could actually make 75 kg if I really wanted to. I'm only about 81 right now this morning.
Oh, 81? I thought you were 84 kilo.
No, I'm like 81 right now this morning.
Lean, Doug, at that, mate. You're tall for that.
Okay.
It's like when Tom Holland was making that weight, and you're just looking at him and you're thinking, Jesus, he's
Neil,
big lad for that weight.
When are we gonna know the guys who are qualified for the East versus West from?
I would imagine 2 or 3 weeks after when's the final date ending again?
The same day, same morning of the East versus West, May 6th.
That's going to be
6th,
awesome. I love that.
Middle of April.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, middle of
April. I just couldn't be a fan.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if Russians were allowed to compete, then, because I invited some Russian guys, but for the tournaments, it is sanctioned by the federation, so they don't allow. And about Georgians, I'm not sure. But
it's only year 1 as well, mate. It's only year 1. So in a way, don't take this the wrong way, but in a way, I think that helps a little bit because it'll let some guys through who may not have got through had the Russians been there. So it can just make it a bit more of an expansive feel, better feel. Yeah, like you say, some of the emerging talent that guys don't know from North America would be good. The guys from Europe that would be good. There's guys out there from Western European countries that we won't know. That's exciting when you see guys that nobody knew, that somebody shows up and you're like, who the f is this guy?
Yeah. Anyway,
like the kid Justin that pulled bloody Adam Wawrzynski.
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
It's good that I invited him. I'm very happy. The guy needs to be really world level, It will be very good. Imagine that there is Rob there, Paul is there, Adam Wawrzynski is there. It's good candidates for 95.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is all from one country,
Mm-hmm.
We say West, but actually I need to mention this all the time. We're talking about some Canada, but mostly US versus world we are talking about, and not US versus regular world, US versus the best of the best.
Back in the day, the USA was the stronghold of
in WAF.
Excellent arm wrestlers. You'd go there. The reason I was going there, and you as well, because you'd go over there, and there was Patton and Cobra, and but you did have this set of guys that were
Eastern guys were not as good as today at the beginning, Yeah.
No, the absolute pinnacle in the light to middleweight categories for the last 10 years, 15 years has definitely been the Eastern Bloc.
It's maybe 25 years, yeah. Maybe from the mid 90s that the Eastern Europe started dominating, Russians,
Yeah.
Georgians, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
where the nucleus was, without a doubt, obviously.
Brisbane, Australia.
But outside of Brisbane, Australia, Danny Tesh, it was Eastern Europe.
Anyway, so.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
On that note,
knowing that Danny could twat your dad, we're going to leave this show. It's been the fix 1:44. It's like 4 a.m. in Turkey.
yeah,
And let me tell you now, that
Games
mother
are really
fluffer would stay for another 9 hours.
Yes.
9 hours. And if Niazi was with him, Niazi would be like, Neil, you talk about arm wrestling, drink coffee and maybe tea, no alcohol. Hey?
Yeah. Yeah. But the last thing I want to say, I love that the team spirit, that, the Team East is not really Team East, different guys. Maybe Georgia, mainly because a lot of Georgians are coming. But for Team West, like most of them are Americans, and they are really teaming. You understand? Like,
oh yeah. It's like it's like going back to the old Golden Bear.
It is like it's like Rocky story, for them. It's just like I love it. Yeah.
We're talking. Doug and I and Rob are talking regularly. I talk to Brandon all the time. I just spent the weekend with Brandon in Philadelphia. Yeah, we're getting after it, man.
That's motivation, right, Paul?
We're all underdogs.
That's motivation, right? Motivation, huh? Toward that
Yes. Team motivation.
You guys are going.
Great. Can't ask for more.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, because the new like globalism is just like all about person to person, but I kind of believe in like nation pride as well. I have that for my country, and I respect everyone if they have as well, And yeah,
tremendous, ladies and gents, it's coming. Keep that talk going. This has been the Fix 144. Thanks to everybody who's checked it out, tuned in, guys. If you're in the chat and you haven't given us a like, do us a favor, hit that like button. Please subscribe also to the channel. We'll be back here next Sunday night for 145. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Fix 145 next weekend. If you're not subscribed to Engin's channel, get your ass over there. The Enigma of Raids needs your loving. Get over to Doug Ehrlich, get subbed. Get over to Lethal Arms and get subbed, ladies and gents. We will be back on here next week, and then there'll be a lot going on in between.
Let me plug Doug Ehrlich quick.
Plug him.
Hey, Doug Ehrlich just started an Instagram. I was like, Doug, you got to get out from under the rock. He started one. Go find Doug Ehrlich on Instagram.
Yeah.
Get over there. He's got his beard growth going good. Waxed it up for you. Everything's spot on. Look at that.
Got a lot of gray in there now.
Dude, you don't know what gray is. Look at this.
Yeah,
I'm getting older and older.
I shave, And Paul, that bicep that I saw wasn't enough. Just get that bigger.
Every other day I'll be working on it.
Take care, guys.
Ladies and gents, take it easy. Give us that like, give us that sub. We'll see you next week. Until that time, biggity bong, mother fluffers. There we go.